Then I accidentally beat the shit. Oh, Immortal Goddess Destined one's part, whatever. Then I accidentally beat the shit out of Catwoman with a picture that my mother took of me before she died. The picture showed me eating out my kindergarten teacher. I clearly remember kissing and licking the loose, flabby labia of her granny pussy. After eating her out, we boogied to the safety dance by men without hats. Ugh, messed that up bad. Oh. After being reminded of this fond moment, my boner became harder than granite. I couldn't help it. Catwoman's pussy looked so inviting. I beat her to the ground with the picture gnawed off her eyelids, then brutally raped her saggy cunt. On a side note, Blackius Manuel is Mary, as well as Jared. Black man also have been aborted before his one birth. Black man is alive. He is his own brother, too. He stare into his own eyes using reflection of someone else's reflection. I become abnormal after a mission rescued Benjamin Denarius and is always thirsty with deadly sins of 7 when I become like a monster and always disobey many order and slaughter enemy, including innocent person. When the FTS incident, I mission. Mike found some Yoshi blood DNA and his little organ from his body. I lost my little organ. I fight person who stabbed my face with pile driver wrestle move. I said it. Jack has face from the bump all over his face. His skin like crocodile, mouth like a mouse, and eyes wide like a chameleon with inflated body. I went to building on fire and hard to die. I began to go to building on fire and thinking about going to building on fire. My hand is burning and my helmet is full of crack. Good thing I can suck this fire. Oh my, George Takei said suggestively. Are you need a power? My face are 360 degrees different than before. I really like an asshole there. I go take a walk to recover my body from the stiff Meister. Stiff Meister. I killed many innocent people, but everyone loves me for saving many stray animals and good singing voice. I also won tournament. I kill opponents because they annoying. In mountains, everyone playing with the creek or sleep inside the earth. I'm searching a fish from the creek. I hear a knock at the door. I open the door. I see pretty grill from Propane Industries. I open the door. Somewhere in the United States of America, a building that sold electronic devices, computers, electrically charged batteries, power tools, wires, transformers for power lines, light bulbs, etc., had a power outage midday because the farmer who was riding the bicycle to keep the power on fainted from heat exhaustion. Ironic, isn't it? Anyway, the amount of cum that Kazehana was releasing was far beyond what any Sekirei would have normally produced in one sitting on a pansy. This caused her hot, sticky fluids to seep out through the extremely short leggings of her first disciplinary, of her tight and very revealing first disciplinary squad uniform. Some of Kazehana's jizz eventually made its way onto Goku's gi before the wings finally stopped growing and retracted into her back once again. Goku then reached into his gym bag that had suddenly just materialized into his right hand and pulled out an unborn fetus that had been sitting right next to his 1,000-year-old stinky laundry and masturbation rags. He then popped the unborn fetus into his mouth and ate it. The magnificent taste of the unborn, which tasted of stale muffins dipped in raspberries and shit, made him so happy that he grabbed his pubic hairs and ripped them all out. His genitals would now be smooth for the day. What a big bagel. I then pulled out 2 bottles of bleach, one for drinking and one for bleaching. Thanks, Amanda Todd. Your idea proved useful. Raisins! Minaka exclaimed in a pathetic attempt at mimicking an elderly woman's voice before giving his son a genital hug. Takami gave her husband a chilling smile before asking, "Hey, Minaka, are you thinking what I'm thinking?" "I think so, honey, but aren't I already naked?" Minaka, whose clothes had suddenly disappeared, replied, "I'm black!" Takami screamed as her head turned into that of a duck's. Back in Horsey Land, Silver Spork and Diamond Tits were making fun of their 3 favorite victims when Goku and I suddenly appeared in front of them. "Here, horsies!" I shouted goofily before throwing a couple of apples at the 2 ponies, which hit them in their stupid faces before bouncing off and landing on the ground in front of them. My mind out chaos is the Daedric god of mad chaos, Disco Shagoroth. "For!" the Saiyan god shouted next before kicking each of them through the air like a football. An onlooker gasped before saying, "Oh my God, he kicked Phillies! You bastard!" Diamond's mother shouted. In response, Goku blew her the fuck up. Then Goku paused before muttering, "Speaking of equines, horse dicks are far larger than human dicks. Therefore, horse vaginas must be so deep that it's like a cave in there. Maybe I'll go spelunking. Limp Dong Loon, Kim Jong-un, let it be so." Following this, the cops appeared and told Goku to freeze. In response, Goku pissed on them and they left. Suddenly, my pingus skewered adults, this includes the fucktards of Westboro Church, the Canadians, the Amazonians, the Eskimos, the Indians, the Australians, corpses, the guy with 2 dicks because he's freaking Russian, the Chinese after I started shooting up the pandas in their zoos as they kept yelling endangered species, but I really don't know what that means. Fred from YouTube, a bunch of British pretty kitties in elementary school, Columbine ain't got shit on this. A ghost. Plants, animals, trees, food, the ground, myself, extraterrestrials, stars, moons, black holes, the galaxy, the universe, virtual reality, the natural elements, lava, fire, ice, water, lightning, etc. Inanimate objects, every alphabet in existence, existence itself, sexual offender man cut it off with a chainsaw before it could touch him. Oh God, not my arsehole! Ah! It's okay to be gay, let's rejoice with the boys in a gay way. Wiggy, wiggy, wiggy! I'm going to give hookers STDs. Lols. Prepare your anus. Let us have some rest, and then you can excrement to your heart's content. Just then, Santa Claus appeared before a group of kids and said, I'm gonna shit on some kids. Merry fucking Christmas, bitches! So he did, leaving a bunch of crying shit stains in his wake. Next on my shit list are feminazis, poor people, Nancy Pelosi, and other bigots that bitch about other bigots being bigots. Satan, or Santa, then took off after his next targets. However, he stuffed it around a woman's house and killed her kid. This made the woman very horny, seeing as how her son, her only remaining loved one, had just been killed, so she eloped with Santa Claus and became his waifu. He then gunned down the woman's puppy and sold its dead carcass on Craigslist. This made the woman even more horny. They fucked again. Right after watching National Geographic and learning about how turtles have sex, I proceeded to grow a rather strange interest in wanting to cut off someone's penis and eat it after cooking it. I took a trip to Craigslist and signed into my account the Master Butcher. I then posted an ad saying, looking for a well-built 18 to 30-year-old to be slaughtered, and hope for the best. I knew that there would be at least 69 people in the world who shared the same ass-raping, motherfucking, heart shit-warming, lazy-ass, cunt-looking fetish as me. Then I stole a truck. In minutes, I was speeding down the highway in an intense police chase. I threw a grenade out of the window and blew up one of the coppers. I handed the wheel to a squirrel wearing a superhero costume. I figured it would be a faster driver. I opened up the sunroof, and with my AK-48, which is slightly better than the AK-47, I shouted, "I'm exercising my constitutional rights." Then I shot a Hispanic cop in the face. I didn't know those existed, to be honest. Then I heard a sound. I looked towards the horizon and saw a Boeing AH-64 Apache attack helicopter trademark. I got scared and blew it up with my mind. A bit of shrapnel hit a police car and blew it up. This began a massive chain reaction, destroying all of the cars chasing me. It was a sight similar to that found in the game Burnout 3 Takedown. Trademark. One after another, car after car blew up. The sight filled me up with so much determination that I had to climax. I jizzed into my trucker hat with such destructive power that I was jettisoned into outer space. I was screaming in ecstasy as I entered into a wormhole, passing by a black hole that was tied to a negaversal rift in the space-time continuum that Thanatos used to send alien hordes into various realities when he was bored, that crossed its streams with Goku's trans-universal hotel for Saiyan gods, thus sending myself into the future of 2510 AD. I then put my hat back on with a squelch and continued driving without the constant harassment of the local law enforcement. After beating Goku with a frying pan, you know what? Fuck Goku. My frying pan has a better story. Flashback. Oh no. It's about to rain. Sad face. So, what do? I use my frying pan as a drying pan. Really happy face. Flashback in. My right hand cried baby tears, so I cut it off. On it were the first 100 presidents of a planet called America. The first two presidents, Bartholomew and Voldemort, were turned into kernels by a massive avalanche of popcorn stands. Their kernels were consumed by patrons in various movie theater establishments. Each paper bag was a coffin for their memory, and no one knew their names, even though they were listed on the ingredient list. These patrons became psychologists, and wars fought for control of who had all the pellets. Whoever shot the least pellets won. The third president, Great Cornholio Wahuli, went to a country that was nothing but a desert with half-buried turkeys. He knew that he had to flee, or else he'd be raped by the nearby wild level 13 hobo turkey, just like the other turkeys around him that were lying face down with their butts in the air, eyes wide, mouths agape. Unfortunately, Great Cornholio Wahuli tripped and fell into a turkey head, where he was booked and ordained as a furry. He was then sent to trim the beard's 157 toad sages, whose beards corrupted the water used for the next year's crop of windmills. Without these windmills, the peasants would be unable to scatter the ashes of patrons from the pellet wars. Great Cornholio Wahuli took these beards and formed a lasso, Wonder Woman. He used it to tear off his dick and write the 13 Commandments of America upon a chicken in chicken's blood. 1. Girls wearing skimpy clothing are just asking to be raped, so it shouldn't be illegal in this particular instance. Actually, fuck feminism altogether. Why should someone be equal why should women be equal anyhow? It just doesn't make sense to me. They're clearly inferior to men in every way, honestly. I remember one time when my feminist cousin was on his life support, I decided to read her Tumblr. I have never been more horrified in my life. All of this stuff about how, quote, cis males are ruining society, unquote, and, quote, insanity isn't a disease, unquote. Honestly, it was this thinking that got her put on life support in the first place. Fueled with rage, I remember locking the hospital door and giving her the hardest incestual hate fuck until death that a cousin has ever had outside of a man from North Carolina finding out that his daughter has decided to be a man when they run into each other in the men's restroom. How can he be her father and her cousin? Ask the people in North Carolina. They seem to have it down to a science. Harvey Weinstein, or was it Weinstein? Oh well, what's the difference? 2. Allow yourself to be found masturbating to a goat in the woods. Reports will say that there may be semen on the goat, but the goat will refuse to allow authorities to search it. 3. If Batman sells you a portfolio, don't. 4. Your head is trash. Throw it away, but let everyone watch or you'll become oatmeal. 5. Always collect a ghost shadow if it leaves one behind. Then shit on it. 6. Starbucks napkins are hereby the new currency, but only after they are. The exchange rate will be infinite R's to 2.78 napkins. 7. Alligators will be used to build a pyramid with 290 sides. They will be taxi cabs, and caribou will live there. 8. On Father's Day, you will enter an invisible container and be nuked. There, you will enter a flaming candy store, but all of your Starbucks napkins will have been disintegrated before you can buy anything. 9. It is spam, all of it. Only memes, whatever, and spam aren't spam. 5. 10. All clocks will be inscribed with the entirety of the alphabet. Saving time. This is the alphabet. 6 plus 2% equals A. 1/2 asterisk 12 equals B. 16 minus 11 equals President Great Cornholio Wahuli, or Great Cornholio Wahuli, and so on until you reach the short sweating bullets. 11. All previous constitutions were written by soulless gingers whose mothers had organic mass in them. They are all invalid. 12. Spend your time as a Psyduck, waddling in acid until you become an omelet. 13. All time is a circle. Hide it up a goat's rectum, and Jimmy Neutron will die. President number 4, who was no name, but a multitude of frogs in the shape of swastikas, decided to create the Gilded Age. The wedding cake was invented by Thomas the Choo-Choo Train. Choo-choo! Chugga chugga bottle of dicks. Chugga chugga bottle of dicks. Chout roulette. All the women were shit stains made of butter, and were picked up before being wiped on the toast in the summer. It was in vain, because this was not the toast of the cock. It was shitty toast, one which died upon the jizzing from the nun. Not even snakes would touch it, preferring rotten onion salad. However, the snakes were laughed into ballerina outfits, sold to the highest bidder, where they underwent liposuction. President Pye disliked the conservative weaviles, so he became infinite, four-dimensional pink squares. Each square was skewered, and all hairdressers are newsmonger. The more orifices and candles I have groped. The Megaworlds, 14. 15. There is no 18th commandment of America. Ha! Shows what you know. I actually see women as objects, such as concrete, mannequins, squares, rectangles, and Dr. Octagon was blah! I respect them. I even beat my brother in a foot race, though he was in a wheelchair. However, he had wheels, so he had an advantage, even though it was an uphill race, and I was wearing Heelys, and I had tied his wheelchair to a lamp post, and part of the race involved going up some stairs, and I may have started the race by kicking him into a ditch, but I still beat his stupid, crippled ass in a foot race. Women are the foundation of closets everywhere. I find it amusing that you had me pegged completely wrong. I go into the other hole, you lumpy buffoon. Squirrel balls. Strange? No. A girl waking up to the sight of Jeff the Killer and exclaiming, "Oh shit, Jeff the Princess!" Only to be cut off by the floating disembodied head of Mario from the Mario Teaches Typing game, which is now casually floating around the girl's room. Upon hearing this, Jeff looks up and sees the girl gaping at the sight of him wearing Princess Peach's pink dress, crown, shoes, and a blonde wig that's identical to the hair of Princess Peach. "What?" Jeff asks. In reply, the girl shouts, "Pingus!" and shoves the lettuce dildo really hard and fast up Princess Jeff's ass. That's strange. However, people like you tend to jump to conclusions and offend my honor as a person. However, people like you who seem to jump to conclusions and offend my honor as a person really tend to rub me the wrong way. Yay. Call me that if you want, you wankstain. So you might as well take your shit elsewhere. It's my honor? Thanks, Judge. Scientologists are dumbasses that worship Zapdos. Or was it Zeno? Whenever I see one, I fly 52.3 feet in the air from Scientology-induced panic poots. Suddenly, my phone died. I knelt down and shouted to the air, "Fantastic fucking feces football!" I alliterated my frustration and made a new sport at the same time. It's a lot like football, except not at all. You see, one person gathers a bunch of shit and starts running their dick through it with the aim of release. The other person uses special cleats to kick them in the balls from behind. If the person fucking the shit can orgasm in a cup at the end of the 5-minute round, they win. There are 2 rounds, one for player 1 to get sack kicked and one for player 2 to get sack kicked. If there's a tie at the end, the winner will be decided by having a minute-long eating competition. Whoever eats the most feces in the minute wins. Right now, I'm trying to get ESPN to invest in my magnificent idea. So far, they haven't taken to the concept. I'll have to make it on a Shark Tank sometime. I hide in the middle of the road from people driving cars before closing my eyes. I'm so clever. Happy face. However, Goku didn't even notice that anything had happened thanks to the kiss he had just received from Kazehana less than a minute ago, which just caused his mind to go blank. He still had feeling in sight, yes. His brain, however, didn't let him know how or what he felt and saw. Just that he had felt and saw something. However, he didn't care. He was just glad that I didn't go spinning out of control like the spoon that my mom threw at me for jacking off underneath the dinner table. With that, Goku left to commit fanficception by reading the Eldritch Abomination fanfic called An Immortal God and His Destined Ones. What do you have to say for yourself, Goku? Domestic violence! Goku enthusiastically shouted, "Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?" "No, because that would be incest," the Saiyan deadpanned. "Right. Incest. Shut up. I swear that I didn't diddle my mommy." Okay. Can we get back to the story now, Mr. 13-foot tall author? Goku asked me. Yes, that would be for the best. Also, to the readers who are wondering why I had Goku refer to me as a giant, then just look up World War II Solomon Islands. Hell, I'm not even the tallest, 13'7". We range from between 9'0" to 17 feet, roughly. And yes, we can mentally snap and go completely berserk at will. Knock down trees, tank anything until death catches up with us. While in that state of mind, or cannibalistic, etc. Now, you readers might be wondering how the fuck I have a computer with internet in such a backwater place, or how I speak English so well. Well, who says that I still live on the Solomon Islands? As for how I am so fluent in English, well, it's best not to ask. Anyways, I'm basically a giant sand nigger. I also have some Palestinian blood in me under the guise of some white guy whose name I'm borrowing. So I can say the word, quote, nigger, unquote, and not be racist. And no, women that aren't giants won't be able to fit male giants inside of themselves. The average dick size of us giants are what bronies wish they had, so that they could fit well inside of a female horse. Full body cloak plus squatting down and hunching over equals hides my height, so that I look like a hunchback instead of the Hulk, with a dark yellowish skin color. Also, the rest of the giants hate me for abandoning their way of life and becoming soft. So if you, or becoming, quote, soft, unquote. So if you ever run into one and feel up to trying to strike up a conversation with one, assuming one of my own just doesn't just ignore and try to eat you, then I'd highly advise against mentioning the one that left the Solomon Islands. They hate my guts, and by association, anyone who mentions me will probably kill you. Slowly. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, who's going to believe me? Yes, that would be for the best. Also, to the readers who are wondering why I had Goku refer to me as a giant, just look up World War II, Solomon Islands. Hell, I'm not even the tallest, 13'7". It ranged from between 9'0" to 17'0", roughly. And yes, we can mentally snap and go completely berserk at will, knock down trees, tank anything until death catches up with us while in that state of mind, cannibalistic, etc. Now, your readers might be wondering how the fuck I have a computer with internet in such a backwater place, or how I speak English so well. Well, who says that I still live in the Solomon Islands? As for how I am so fluent in English, well, it's best not to ask. Anyways, I'm basically a giant sand nigger. I also have some Palestinian blood in me under the guise of some white guy whose name I'm borrowing. So I can say the word, quote, nigger, unquote, and not be racist. And no, women that aren't giants won't be able to fit male giants inside of themselves. The average dick size of us giants are what bronies wish they had, so that they could fit well inside of a female horse. Full body cloak plus squatting down and hunching over equals hides my height, so that I look like a hunchback instead of the Hulk, with a dark yellowish skin color. Also, the rest of the giants hate me for abandoning their way of life and becoming, quote, soft, unquote. So if you ever run into one and feel up to trying to strike up a conversation with one, assuming one of my own doesn't just ignore and try to eat you, then I'd highly advise against mentioning the one that left the Solomon Islands. They hate my guts, and by association, anyone who mentions me and will probably kill you. Slowly. Why am I telling all of this to you? Well, who's going to believe me? Yes, get on with it! Anyways, once Goku had recovered from the initial shock, his mind was immediately bombarded with a multitude of questions. However, they could wait, because she was only the second person to ever kiss him. Therefore, Goku asked the one question that mattered most to him. Miss, you just gave me what my deceased wife calls, quote, the marriage kiss, unquote. If anyone objects to this onion speck, does that mean that you married me just now? Right then and there, Kazehana spontaneously combusted. Goku then picked up a surviving novel from inside of her skirt and started reading, despite being illiterate. The story of the littlest leper. A long, long time ago, on an island far, far away, in a hole in the ground, there lived a leper. Not a clean, nice, dry hobbit hole. In this hole is a stout, tiny, little, robust, cautious, adorable, anxious, bewildered, adventurous, calm, busy, excited, drab, foolish, filthy, evil, frail, precious, plain, mushy, modern, puzzled, unusual, weary, vast, uptight, super, wild, zealous, courageous little leper. He had many talents. He liked and disliked many things. At this point, you may have noticed that I put everything in past tense. That's because he's dead. I mean, he was a leper after all. One bizarre thing he loved to do was exclaim, "Shabude!" This one thing is what perhaps got him into the most trouble. The word, which means, quote, naked prey, unquote, is what he would yell when he would devour someone's testicles. One sunny afternoon, a stranger washed ashore onto one of the many beaches. He awoke to the sight of a skeleton next to a bunch of UPS boxes and a Wilson volleyball. All of a sudden, he heard, "Shaboodeh!" When he next awoke, his legs were ripped to a bloody mess. He looked up and saw the little leper. So he pulled out the S&W 44 from his jacket pocket for which he carried for this exact predicament. He pointed the barrel of the revolver at the tiny leper. He pulled the trigger, which flung the hammer forward, hitting the primer of the bullet, which exploded the gunpowder propelling the bullet. The bullet rocketed at 870 meters per second towards the leper. The bullet punctured his skin, shattered his skull, destroyed the brain matter, and flew out the other side in a bloody mess. The man then turned the barrel on himself and shot himself dead. This is the end of our little story. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. As Christopher and Goku were about to be continued. Fap. Nappa. Vegeta, what does the scouter say about this chapter's word count? Vegeta, it's over 9,000! Okay, Kazahana never spontaneously combusted. She just face-faulted Kazahana's ear shorts billowed without any wind because fuck logic. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm insane, but sanity is overrated. Okay, that's it for the first chapter. Until next time, peace out.